So let's look at the very beginning of the Critique of Pure Reason. This is the preface, or beginning of the preface to the first edition. Kant says something that's very striking and really is the theme of the aspect of Kant that I'd like to bring out in this week. He says this: human reason has this peculiar fate that in one species of its knowledge it is burdened by questions which, as prescribed by the very nature of reason itself, it is not able to ignore, but which, as transcending all its powers, it is also not able to answer. Well, that is a very dramatic way of beginning the book, and it's a thing that I want to keep in mind. What is Kant saying there? That human reason is tragic. Why? Because by the very nature of reason itself, it is led to demand answers to certain questions, to ask them and to want to answer them. But at the same time, these questions are actually unanswerable. And what questions is he talking about? We'll see. We'll see examples both of the kinds of questions that he has in mind, which are metaphysical questions, and also some reasons why he believes they cannot be answered. I say that it's tragic, yes. The notion is that human reason seeks to understand certain things, and certain things it can understand. It can answer certain questions, and those questions, Kant says, are the questions that fall within the bounds of its possible experience. It is also driven to ask other questions, metaphysical questions, which transcend the bounds of its experience. At the risk of misinterpreting Kant, but let me give you an example. Is this bottle, does it have a yellow wrapper? Yes. Okay. That's not a metaphysical question, and although there may be some problems with color concepts and whether they're real features of a thing or whatever, I could say that that's a verifiable claim that the bottle has a yellow wrapper. It is not problematic on the surface of it. It is something, the color, experiencing the color of something and determining something's color is within the bounds of my own experience. But then I may be led to ask another question. Is the bottle here, the bottle that I'm experiencing, does it have an existence in itself apart from my experience of it? That is there an in itself, an independent object apart from my experience of it that could be called this bottle? And if so, what is it like in itself? Now that is what I would call a metaphysical question. And when we start to reflect on our own experience, we begin to ask metaphysical questions like that. They're not the most obvious questions, they're not the first questions that we ask, but they are questions that we are led to ask when we begin to reflect upon our own experience and we make certain realizations about what experience is. I think that's a fair example of the kind of thing perhaps that Kant is talking about, that is that we are led to ask questions which are unanswerable because they transcend our experience, our possible experience. Now, the kind of questions that he has in mind, as we'll see, are questions like the existence of God. Is there a necessary being? Questions like the immortality of the soul. Questions like whether we can actually be free. These are all metaphysical questions which transcend the possible, the limits of our possible experience. We'll see just how he deals with those questions.